So, that kind of seva is really wonderful, because every time you take even one word, one sentence of Dada, Dada takes care of you completely. You just need to hold one sentence of Dada. And you're not only, yeah, go on.
Cuando tenemos una oración de Dada, se hace cargo completamente.
And you're not only holding one sentence of Dada, you're actually sharing it, you see. So when you hold and you share, it just multiplies beautifully and helps everyone. So it's so wonderful. This seva is the only seva. This seva is the highest kind of merit karma effect, punyai, you see. To be able
Este es el más maravilloso clase de seva que puedes hacer y de puña, de fuerza espiritual, ¿no? Porque no solamente estás teniendo una palabra, sino que estás recibiendo todo esto para todos. Así que es el más elevado.
Yeah, Niruma had everything. Niruma, when Dada left this world, she had everything. And even when Dada was around, she had everything, you see. Everything means there was nothing lacking in her life, you see. It was all complete. And what was left for her was seva, So Dada's seva and seva of Dada, but also seva of Dada means sharing Dada with the world, sharing Dada with the world, taking complete care of Dada as well as, just being part of Dada so that Dada can give this science to the world,
Yes. Niruma, cuando estaba con Dada y cuando Dada partió, a ella no le faltaba nada en su vida, estaba absolutamente completa. Lo único que había quedado era el seva de Dada. Y el seva de Dada es compartir esto con todo el mundo. Y ser parte del seva de Dada es para el mundo entero.
Yeah, and just a little higher volume, Patricia, a little higher volume, yeah.
Yes, because okay. I'm with the computer, with the phone,
No, so now this is much better. Now is much better. Now is much better. The other one was looked like you were somewhat far away, Now it's much better.
Okay.
Porque cuando vos te acercas a la compu, ¿está bien enchufado el auricular del costadito?
Sí, corazón, sí. ¿Me escuchas bien ahora?
Yeah, this is fine. This is not. Yeah, this is fine. This is fine okay. Now. Yeah. Niruma. Niruma. I will tell you more about Niruma a little bit. I will share this in a minute with you, but let us begin with the three mantra now. So let us have our dear Luz give the three mantra Niruma.
Ahora vamos a hablar de Niruma, pero primero vamos a cantar el trimantra y te está pidiendo a vos, Luz, que lo cantes, por favor.
Jai Sachidananda.
Yes, Jai Sachidananda.
Namo Vitragai, Namo Arihantana, Namo Siddhana. Namo loe sava sahunam. Eso pancha namukarom. Savapava panashano. Mangalanam cha savesim. Padaman Havai Mangalam. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevai. Om Namah Shivaya. Jai Sachitanam. Namo Vitragai. Namo Arihantanam. Namo Sitanam. Namo Ayareyanam. Namo Vasayanam. Namo Loe Sava Sahunam. Eso pancha namukarom. Savapava panashano. Mangalanam cha savesim. Padamam Havai Mangalam. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevai. Om Namah Shivaya. Jai Sachitanam. Namo Vitragai. Namo Arihantanam. Namo Siddhanam. Namo Ayareyanam. Namo Vasayanam. Namo Loe Sava Sahunam. Eso pancha namukarom. Savapava panashano. Mangalanam cha savesim. Padaman Havai Mangalam. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevai. Om Namah Shivaya. Jai Sachitanam. Jai Sachitanam. Jai Sachitanam. Jai Sachitanam.
Yes. Jai Sachidanand. Jai Sachidanand Tela, Jai Sachidanand. Yeah. And Carlos and Gonzalo, Evangelina, Damian, everyone. Wonderful. So I was just going to share something because, you don't share something and you say, okay, I'm going to share something, the flashes, the scenes come to you and you just relate it to each other, And we were talking about Seva and Niroma as we looked at, and it started with this Seva with Gabi and Cecilia, and it's not as if all of you are not doing Seva. All of you are in Seva of Dada and our Akram Vignan, but just this instance of Gavi and Cecilia coming together, kind of, they said they are here for seva together, and I said how wonderful. And so, on the basis of that word seva, I just am sharing something about Niruma, and Niruma seva.
Shddha dijo, bueno, voy a compartir algo, en realidad de Niruma, y no es correcta la frase. Es que las escenas van a venir y se van a relacionar sobre el seva de Niruma, ¿no? Y verlas a Gaby y a Ceci juntas para hacer seva, no porque todos los demás no hagan seva, sino porque esto trae la escena del seva.
Yeah, so it's the fervor, the intense inner sense of urgency, you see. Fervor, Fervor, the fervor, the intense inner sense of urgency that this is the most important thing for me left in this life, you see. The kind of fervor that we see in this, in so many of these people in Ukraine, these people who feel the urgency of their presence, you see. They are feeling it in the relative, all starting from their president, you see. But this intense drive from inside is something that was magnificently exemplified by our dear Niroma, from morning till evening, there is only one thing. This is the most important thing. Dada is the most important thing, and his message is the most important reason for my existence here.
Yes. Esto es como un intenso sentido interior de urgencia, ¿no? Que es lo más importante dejado por mí en esta vida. Lo vemos nosotros, por ejemplo, ahora como en Ucrania la gente, las personas, ¿no? Desde lo relativo le piden a su presidente. Y en una forma, y de la misma, y esta urgencia interna de Niruma es que desde la mañana a la noche lo más importante para mi existencia es el seva de Dada.
Yeah. Dadashri has said again and again, and he kept on saying over and over again while he was in satsang, that this body of ours is like a bubble, just like a bubble, in water, when you never know when it will burst, you see, and it'll be over, and so get your work done. And he is not even only talking about his own body, but he's talking about our bodies, you see, our own presence, presence as the now awakened ones, you see, our presence, not being owners of this body anymore, but our presence with this awareness with this amazing awareness of this light and this gnan, this knowledge of who am I and what is my role now, you see, what is my role?
Dada dijo que mientras estamos en satsang, el cuerpo es como una burbuja en el agua, y que no sabemos realmente en qué momento esta burbuja va a desaparecer. No hablaba de él hablaba de absolutamente todos los seres humanos, que hablaba de la presencia, nuestra presencia con esa conciencia maravillosa de luz y conocimiento sobre quién soy realmente y cuál es mi rol.
And the other Shri says, you never know when this bubble will plop. Plop means it's over, you know. You and I are here, and then the bubble bursts, and this body as a medium, this body of Shddha or Tela or Patricia is no longer there for us to communicate or to do any good for anyone, you know. And he says this bubble is so unpredictable. You never know when it will plop, it will be over. And he says, in the same way, you know, this is the urgency that has to be absolutely appreciated. You see, if you want to see how that appreciation is going on, you ask those men who have stayed behind, sent away their wives and their daughters and their little children out of the country in Ukraine. You know, they know the urgency, you see. They know what it means, you see. Yeah. You know, oh yes, it is a relative urgency, but here it's the same, is it not? You know, we do not know this. We cannot take everything that is wonderful around us for granted, you see. And so that is why we need to establish, we need to make the right use of our time in this body, you see, the right use of our time in this body.
Yes. Yes. Dada dijo que sí.
Patricia,
Sí.
por favor, ¿podías levantar el sonido de tu audio? No escucho nada. Escucho tu voz, pero no las palabras, por favor. Gracias.
Bueno, ahora me
Ahora
escuchan.
sí. Sí, ahora
Ok.
sí, perfecto.
Bueno, igual todavía no había empezado a hablar. Dada dijo que mientras que este cuerpo es como una burbuja en el agua y no sabemos cuándo esta burbuja va a desaparecer o a explotar. Y no vamos a saber cuánto vamos a estar en este cuerpo para hacer el bien de nadie. Y nunca sabrás cuánto. Y esta es la urgencia que hay que apreciar hoy. Hay hombres que conocen la urgencia en Ucrania para poder retirar a su familia, a su esposa, a sus hijos. Y aquí es igual. Tenemos que tomar conciencia del uso correcto de este cuerpo y no estar malgastándolo en tomar cosas que no son importantes. La importancia es la presencia y el correcto uso del cuerpo.
Yes, and Niroma exemplified this, you see, and Niroma got it. She understood exactly the importance of it, and for a long time, you know, in the initial phases, of you know, as in the early 90s, in the early 19s, as I was moving around with Niruma, whenever I was around her, you know, I was aware that she had, you know, physical difficulties, you know, physical limitations, you know. She was constantly adjusting a little pillow behind her neck whenever she would sit, because she had a disc in her neck, you see. She had pain in her neck, but she never complained about it. She would adjust it, she will keep a pillow. And even if she would travel, if I was with her in India, traveling in a cab or in a car, with not this luxurious car, but the old cars, they would shake, and it causes a lot of pain, but she never complained. She just, let's go to new places. She would say, let's go to new people, and let's go to new people. So wherever there were new people to listen to, where she could just share Dada with, just talk a little bit about Dada, she would just say, let's go, let's get out, let's go. You see?
Niruma, esto lo tenía tan claro y lo entendió tan perfectamente. Y en las fases iniciales de los 90, Shddha viajaba mucho con Niruma y ella tenía un problema en el cuello y necesitaba como un almohadoncito para viajar en auto porque si el auto se sacudía, pero ella jamás se quejaba. Y decía, vamos a hablar a más gente para llevar la palabra de Dada, y nunca se quejaba, y siempre vamos. No tenía ninguna queja, solo la importancia y la urgencia era llevar la palabra de Dada a la mayor cantidad de gente posible.
Yes, she, so we went with her. We took her all over. We took her very far, like, in the South Island of New Zealand and North Island of New Zealand, and, far, far places where there were only a few people, maybe in those days, few Indians, because first let's, if we can give it to the local Indians, then maybe the Indians will wake up, and then they will, share it with the people around them, whoever they were, and he was constantly encouraging, a few of us. There was about 4 or 5 of us only who were translating her books into English, you see, and she was blessing us, encouraging us, and also, sometimes we the 4 of us would fight about this sentence and this sentence, and she just kept on encouraging us, you see. Knowing that it was more important, yes, it's important to get the work, get Dada's words out to the world, but if it's more important than that is not to hurt your fellow Mahatma. Most important, the Mahatma is more important. The work is number 2. The Mahatma is more important. I'm getting a little crackling sound from you, Patricia. But that's okay. I just want to let you know. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. I think it's just a question of adjustment. Yeah.
Yes, I couldn't do it by the cell phone. I will try in the
no, you don't have to. You're doing fine. It's just the sound was coming fine, and then it got a little less intense. Anyway, yeah. Before it was fine.
Patri, en el volumen del mismo auricular me parece que tenés bajo. ¿Viste que tenés una cosita en el cable?
Sí, está acá, sí, lo tengo a full.
¿Está bien enchufado?
Sí.
El problema es que la computadora no tiene buen audio, pero bueno.
Bueno, ya vamos a comprar una nueva.
Okay,
bueno.
all right. Carry on.
Now you're listening.
It's much better. Yeah, it's better.
Okay. En esos tiempos, en los principios, ¿no? Niruma decía, bueno, impulsaba a todos para que vayan a dar charlas, y por ahí viajaban desde a Nueva Zelanda, al sur, al norte y a todos lados. A pesar de que hubiera pocas personas, había muy poca gente de India también, ¿no? Que viajaba y que invitaba a la gente a las charlas de Niruma, ¿no? Y compartían todo esto que iban recibiendo con las personas que conocían. Y había 5 o 6 personas que traducían las palabras de Niruma al inglés o algunas frases. Ella siempre los impulsaba a que continúen y a que continúen, porque más allá de poder seguir dando a conocer las palabras de Dada, lo más importante es no herir a tu compañero Mahatma.
Yeah, she's many times, so anyways, it's yeah, I have live experiences of this seva business with in the translations of these words that are now coming out. There were just 4 of us: Sirish, I, my sister, and her husband. 4 of us only. Just doing my sister and her husband would do the initial work, and then Sirish and I would review, and sometimes, between the 4 we would have fights, we would have disagreements, and we would walk away and we would say, okay, I don't want to deal with it, and we wasted some time in that. And Niruma was around, but whenever we gather together, whenever Niruma is around, all 4 of us would do the vidhi with Niruma. We would be at her feet, you see, recognizing our mistakes, and we would carry on. But this is how it is, you see. And you see, whenever you are dealing with language, words, it is the ego comes in, you say. This discharge ego comes in, you say, and you have to really keep it away, recognizing the absolute beauty of Dada in his words and the importance of this of understanding scientific circumstantial evidences. We were young, then, we were not mature, enough, but Niruma was there to really just be there with love, and that is what is necessary. Now, Niruma is still present, but, sharing her views, in this way, through this medium, you see. Mm-hmm.
Yes. Shddha dice que tuvo en su vida la experiencia en la traducción, ¿no? Y que al principio había 4 que traducían: Sirish, Pai, Shddha, su hermana y su marido. A veces tenían desacuerdos y malgastaban su tiempo no estando de acuerdo. Pero después los 4 hacían lidia a los pies de Niruma y podían ver sus errores. Y ella con muchísimo amor y les mostraba las evidencias científicas circunstanciales y podían ver sus errores. Niruma siempre estaba presente. Esos 4 eran muy jóvenes y Niruma estaba presente con mucho amor, de la misma forma que ahora también está presente aquí.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so we learn from the live examples, you see, and we continue to learn. You will never learn until it hits you, you see. We talk about all of this flawless vision and scientific circumstantial evidence and all of this magnificent knowledge that we read about. But the only way it will become an experience is when it hits us, when it affects us, you see, in the relative, and then we rise above it, you see. You cannot learn swimming by standing at the edge of the swimming pool or the lake, you see. You have to jump in. The only when you jump in that you're going to really, you're going to begin to understand that the role of the water is not to drown you, but to really float you, you see.
Wow. Nosotros no aprendemos hasta que nos tocan las cosas, hasta que las cosas nos suceden, lo tenemos, hasta que lo tenemos en experiencia. Podemos estar recibiendo un maravilloso conocimiento, pero hasta que no lo experimentemos, no es la experiencia lo que nos va a llevar al entendimiento total. Por ejemplo, si estamos en el borde de una pileta o de un lago, vamos a saber que eso es agua, pero hasta que no saltemos no vamos a entender que el agua del lago o de la pileta no está allí para hundirnos, sino que está allí para mantenernos a flote.
Yes. Sirish and I are very dear friends, we are very, very close. And but while doing the work, sometimes we would fight, you see, and just have fights, disagreements, but we will carry on. But once I was alone with Niruma and I complained about him, I complained. Well, it wasn't about translation. It was about something that Sirish was preventing Niruma from what she wanted to do with reference to the distribution of the books, you see. Niruma wanted to distribute the books in certain way. Sirish says, no, we shouldn't charge money for the books, you see. And Niruma says we need to have some money so that we can print more books, you see. And so I said, Niruma, why don't you forget Sirish? Why don't you just forget Sirish and just do it? I just told her that, and she looked at me. She's very gently. She says to me, if the work is not important, the person is very important. No one should be hurt. To me, it's very, very important to take care of the other human being too. She says, I understand what you're trying to say, but she says, we will find a way, And so then eventually, Sirish understood, but this is how it is. Slowly, this is by learning, I share this with you because this is a very personal thing that had happened, but I'm not sharing it because it's a learning experience. Niruma says the other person to me is more important than all this work, all this satsang.
Yeah. En determinado momento Shirish estaba, Shddha y Shirish son amigos desde siempre, y un día Shirish la estaba previniendo a Niruma sobre no repartir libros, ¿no? Por un tema de dinero. Entonces Shddha le dice a Niruma, dice, olvídate de eso y hazlo. Entonces Niruma le dice, el trabajo no es lo más importante es el ser humano, y siempre vamos a encontrar las formas. Y así lentamente vamos aprendiendo que lo más importante de todo es la otra persona.
Yeah, so you see the urgency of our presence and the fervor, the importance of this work, if you and I, if somebody had not told us about Dada, somebody had not come and told me about Dada or you about Dada, our life would have been so different, so full of problems and anxieties and pain, and somebody came and spoke to us, a nimit, and in the same way, we need to recognize the urgency of our role, our role. I know, I have Akram Vignan, I can just now, it's fine, if there's a small group, around me, I'm fine, I can have my satsang. Those people are not interested. They have their own religion. They're too busy. All of those things, is correct by relative viewpoint, but it neglects your own role. Your own role. Yes, it neglects your own role. What is the fervor? Well, you have been lifted up. You have been free from this entire horrible, things that happen to these bodies in this world. You see, these bodies, life after life after life. You and I are free, but is your work complete? Is my work complete now? You see, that's the question. You see.
Oh, yeah. Si alguien no hubiera venido a hablarme de Dada, si alguien no hubiera venido a hablarnos a todos de Dada, tal vez ahora estaríamos hundidos en el mundo con problemas, con dolor, con preocupaciones. Y esto nos da a ver la urgencia que nosotros tenemos, la urgencia de nuestro rol ahora en nuestra vida. Que las otras personas digan que están ocupadas o que tienen su propia religión o lo que fuese, está bien. Pero la actuación de ellos es en lo relativo. Mi propio rol es la urgencia. Y nosotros, cada nos elevó, nos sacó de este horrible mundo donde pasan estas cosas. Y la gran pregunta para hacerse es, ¿estoy completo? A pesar de haber recibido el NAN, haber sido elevado, recibir este conocimiento, ¿estoy completo?
Okay, so, I see her walking, going in trains, in buses, in cars, in the villages of India, or if people take her to another country, going along with it, you see. And I see her most important role, I see her two ways. One, wherever she is with Mahatmas, she is giving them just love, love, and love. She doesn't say, oh, Shddha, you go and talk to these people, or you do this, or you should, never giving any orders to anyone. And yet gently giving a lot of love to people that she is around talking, just gently sharing whatever she, her presence. She would give a little satsang, but then while she's talking, 3 or 4 people will interrupt, and she will just, she would listen to everyone. She would not ever make them feel, oh, I'm in charge, I'm in control. Nothing like that. It was with love. That's the most important thing, her presence, that everybody began to understand the beauty of her presence first. And then, you see, she was, it is through her own presence that she let her fragrance spread, you see, not, oh, okay, take the Gnan Vidhi, of course the Gnan Vidhi, and then and the questions after the Gnan Vidhi, etc. But, she was more interested in just being present for the group that she was around. Whichever group she happened to be around, she was a natural presence, you see. Not, oh, okay, satsang time, etc. None of those formalities, you see.
Shddha dice que la vio caminar, la vio en trenes, la vio en autos, la vio en viajes largos. Y el rol más importante de Niruma era el amor a los Mahatmas. Ella no daba órdenes, solamente daba amor y gentilmente compartía el conocimiento. Y si estaba en una reunión y venía gente nueva y estaba hablando, ella escuchaba a todos y no hacía sentir a nadie que ella era la que estaba en control. Lo bello de su presencia era que en este amor y en su presencia esta fragancia se esparcía y era más importante su natural presencia que cualquier pregunta que hicieran en satsang.
She was, if you and I can absorb this particular beauty of Niroma, that to her, the human being sitting across her, regardless of who is she or he is, you see, is the most important one, you see, and that is, not, oh, I'm going to teach him something, or I'm going to kind of get this message of Dada to him, or etc. Not that. That is secondary. The most important thing is to make that other human being feel relaxed. You see, it's not, she never appeared as a major spiritual leader, like coming in. It's just most important thing is just feel relaxed, like one of us only, you see. Begin with that kind of beginning, you see, and then blend in, and then slowly, and then the Gnanviti itself is so powerful that it takes over, you see. Patricia, what we are going to do is, my dear, we're going to have Fabi take over, because, and then, because we're getting a lot.
Listen to me. I am in silence.
I know, no, but we're getting those crackling from yours, yeah. There's crackling noises coming up.
Yes, I listen. I have. Okay. Fabiana.
Yeah, right, yeah. We will.
Do I translate this live this last thing? I translate it and pass.
Yeah. Okay. Sure. Yeah.
Niruma, si nosotros pudiéramos absorber lo más importante de ella, ¿no? Ella no tenía la intención de enseñarle a alguien, de decirle lo que tenía que hacer, o que le iba a pasar un mensaje. Lo más importante era que la otra persona se sintiera relajada, que se sintiera bien. Ella no entraba como una super líder espiritual, de ninguna manera. Ella entraba solamente por su presencia amorosa y para que todos se sientan calmos y relajados. Y después el Gnanviti se hacía cargo por sí solo. Jai Satchidanand Shddha.
Jai Satchidanand. Thank you, my dear. Yeah,
Thank you.
Thank
sorry.
you.
So sorry.
No. It's Vyavasthit. It's just, this is the connection that is causing the difficulties, my dear. All right. And I think there's something loose inside your, mechanism. Yes. Yes. So we continue. She, for all these years between 91 to 2006 that I have known her, never ever was she interested in showing any evidence or any importance of her presence. You see, it's as if she could just fill whoever is present with Dada. You see, to her it was just Dada, as if she was just living for Dada. She was the extension of Dada's presence. You see, what Dada could not complete, she just wanted to complete, you see, in her own ways.
Shddha, Fabi needs shorter sentences.
Okay, all right. Okay.
So, entonces Niruma, entre el 91 y el 2006, que Shddha estuvo con ella, lo único que se podía observar era que era una extensión de Dada, era una extensión de las palabras de Dada. Todo aquello que Dada no había podido completar, ella se ocupó de seguir completándolo sin brillar Niruma en sí misma, sino como extensión de Dada.
Yeah, I knew her from 91 to 2006, you see, and never have I ever. She was not interested in pushing her own presence in any way whatsoever, you see.
Y él la conoció entre 1991 y el 2006 y nunca, jamás, nunca vio que ella intentara brillar, aparecer, mostrar su presencia de ninguna forma.
In the initial days, I used to see, she didn't even care about whether her sari was nicely pressed. There was nobody to, because she was so busy one day after the other, the sari would be from yesterday, it was not nicely pressed. She would just walk in, yes, whatever it is, whatever clothes she had in the group of people, you see.
Y desde los primeros días él siempre observó que ella estaba siempre tan ocupada con la palabra de Dada que ni siquiera se fijaba si su sari estaba correctamente planchado o atado o si alguien se había ocupado de eso. Simplemente se vestía y salía a hacer su trabajo.
Yeah, and her biggest concern as a lady, as a woman, she was very sensitive to the food and the needs of people who she would immediately size up how many people are there, and the instructions will go to the lady of the home or whoever was in charge. Okay, this many people, more are coming, the messages are going, get more food, you see. All all aspects of this gathering, it was like a master multitasker inside. She was aware of all of this, whatever is needed, you see.
Y como buena mujer y sensible a estas cosas, ella siempre estaba ocupándose de que todo aquel que llegaba a la reunión tuviese comodidad y comida, que no le faltara a nadie alimento. Entonces era como una multitarea, una maestra multitarea dentro de ella, dando instrucciones o a la dueña de la casa o quien estuviera a cargo de que no faltara comida para nadie.
Yeah, many a times, in the homes of the Mahatmas in USA, she would just get up, and she will walk into the kitchen and say, okay, tell the lady, okay, today I'm going to make food, food for, today I'm going to cook.
Y cuando se quedaban en casas de Mahatmas en Estados Unidos, muchas veces dice que se levantaba y le decía a la dueña de casa, ok, déjame a mí que hoy yo me voy a ocupar de cocinar, hoy cocino yo.
And this is how she really gathered human beings around her, you see.
Y así es como ella atraía y juntaba seres humanos a su alrededor.
I remember when I first picked her up in 1991, and we brought her home. In those days, we did not have cell phones. And she had a little diary in her. She just had a little diary, and in this diary, she had telephone numbers of people that she was planning to go, to homes. She had their numbers from when she was there, when she was with Dada. And so she would open up her diary, she would sit with all her hair just, flowing out, after the shower, and just drying, square-legged on the bed, with the phone, with that thing, the antenna, and call each one. Tomorrow, can we come to your home? Can I come to your home tomorrow or day after? That's how she would request. Can we come and shall we arrange some satsang, you see? Will you be able to?
Shddha recuerda la primera vez que la recogió y la llevó a su casa, que en esa época, en 1991, no había teléfonos celulares. Entonces Niruma llegó con su libretita de direcciones, con su agendita, y después de darse la ducha y estaba con el pelo suelto secándose, con las piernas cruzadas sobre la cama y con la libretita, y fue llamando uno a una de las personas que traían la libretita, que esos números los traía de la época que habían estado con Dada. Y uno a uno le fue preguntando, ¿nos podemos reunir? ¿Podemos hacer satsang? ¿Podemos mañana ir a tu casa? Y así iba organizando todo.
So this, you see, this is how we, even for her first Guru Purnima, which was in our city, you know, which in Kansas, she picked up the phone and personally invited, please come to Dada's Guru Purnima, please come. She personally invited, you know, because people would say, like people, you know, busy businessmen like Damian or other people, they will say, oh, I don't know, you know, well, go to Kansas. Who wants to go to Kansas, you see?
Y dice que para el primer Guru Purnima que ella organizó, llamó uno por uno a todos. Y ese primer Guru Purnima de Dada fue en la ciudad donde vivía Shddha, en Kansas. Y uno por uno ella iba llamando y los iba invitando que por favor fueran. Y dice que personas importantes de negocios como Damián le decían, ¡ay, te parece! Tengo que ir hasta Kansas. Y ella le decía, please, por favor, vengan.
Yeah, so this is, you know, my reason for sharing this is really to emphasize and to focus that the human being, the person, the Mahatma is the most important person in our group. And in this satsang, our Mahatma is the most important person. The work is number 2. You see, the work, work of Dada or whatever work it is not number 1, is not the priority. You see, sometimes we forget that, oh, the work is very important. Dada's work, you know. No, the human connection. You see this, you know, this
y
week.
Nos comparte todo esto para enfatizar una vez más que siempre lo primero es el otro ser humano. El trabajo es lo segundo. El trabajo de Dada es lo segundo. En estos satsang, en estas reuniones, lo primero es el otro Mahatma, el otro ser humano.
This I know, and you know, less like Dada, when Dada would speak to a Mahatma, you see, no matter how many people were there, Dada would be 100% focused on that human being, 100%, you see. As if the whole world has disappeared. You see, this is so important. This is the one that is going to go to moksha. This one has come in front of not me, but in front of this liberator, the Gnani Purush, you see. This is so very critical, you know.
Es exactamente lo mismo que hacía Dada. Nuestro Dadashri, cuando alguien le hablaba directamente, él estaba 100% enfocado en esa conversación con esa persona. No importaba cuántas otras personas estuvieran cerca, desaparecía, como si todo el mundo por completo desapareciera. Y él estaba enfocado en ese Mahatma, en esa personita que estaba queriendo ir a moksha, enfrente de no él, sino de ese liberador Dada.
And of course, Dada had that kind of presence and magnificence that when Dada is speaking, you know, everybody else shuts up, you see. But you see, it was the opposite with Niruma. People treated Niruma just like another lady, another woman. Oh, who is she? Okay, you know, just, you know. Initially, they did not give, you know, she did not, you know, people, human beings, you know, they expect if somebody wears an orange cloth, you know, like a monk's cloth, you know, and comes in with a lot of aura and pomp, you know, everybody just listens, you see. But this is just a lady like you and me. It's just like Fabi or Patricia walking in, you know, in a group, you know. And then, you know, now we have to, you know, she made her presence in a different way, you see.
Bien.
Yeah, you know.
Entonces dice, estaba claro, por ejemplo, Dada tenía su propia presencia. Dada llegaba y se ponía a hablar y obviamente todo el mundo se quedaba callado y lo miraba. Pero no le pasaba lo mismo a Niruma al principio. Para nada, ella se tuvo que ir ganando eso con el tiempo porque era como, no estaba ni vestida de naranja, como los monjes, nada de todo eso que inspirara a que los demás se callaran y la escucharan, ¿no? Decían, es una señora más, como Fabio, Patricia, que entra a la reunión, pero era otra forma la que ella fue utilizando para ganarse el respeto y que la escuchen.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. You know, and for a lifelong disease of diabetes, you see, maturity onset diabetes, where, you know, you go in different homes, you see, and you know you're flying and going back and forth, you know, and the timings cannot be preserved, you know. It's amazing, absolutely amazing how she managed it all, you see, in terms of
She had diabetes all
yes,
her life?
yeah. Or not a life means all maturity, when older life, when by the time she came into her 40s and the 50s, you know, she had diabetes, you know, and you know, like so she, you know, as you know, you and I know, diabetics require you know a lot of care with reference to their food and their timings, you see.
Y lo que nos está comentando es que era realmente asombroso porque todo esto a partir de los 40 y 50 años ella vivió con diabetes y la diabetes hace que tenga muchos requerimientos especiales, específicos de alimentación, de horarios y sin embargo Niruma se los fue arreglando siempre para poder igual viajar, subir a los aviones, dar satsang, todo.
Yeah, so you know, by the way, this just happened. This wasn't in the plan. It got triggered by seeing our two dear Mahatmas, Gabi and Cecilia, who you know, who are in Seva right now. They are not in here, but you know they're together. Okay, but you know it's just got triggered by that because you know they use the word Seva. You know, we are together because of Seva. You see.
Ok. Y todo esto se disparó por Ceci y Gaby que trajeron la palabra Seva y toda esta conversación vino al respecto.
Yeah, they're here. You know, they're just the camera is not on. You see this. We can keep on. We can keep on talking about Niroma for a very long time, but let's take a break and then we come back to our flawless vision. Yeah.
Ok. Podríamos hablar toda una vida de Niruma, pero bueno, ahora vamos a tomar un recreo de 10 minutes, 10 minutos.
Yeah, 10 minutes.
Y cuando volvemos seguimos con nuestro material de estudio.
Thank you. Thank you, Patricia, my dear, and also thank you, Fabi. Jai Sachidanand.
Gracias, Patri.
Jai Sachidanand. Cambié el teléfono si después quieren probar. Besito.
Ahí se te escucha mejor, ese era el tema.
Porque sí, es la compu.
Okay.
Gracias.
Okay, all right, thank you.
10 minutitos.
Gracias, Fabi.
Por favor, querida. Vos estás siempre. Espera que voy a cerrar la puerta de atrás. Se hicieron largos los 10 minutos, ¿no?
Sabes que cuando hoy me escribiste a la mañana, te contesté así rapidito y me quedé, después les voy a contar. Justo había un amigo que necesitaba tener una reunión de Zoom.
Hoy.
Y sí, a las 8 de la mañana, a las 9, llegó 8:30. Y mientras que él estaba teniendo su reunión de trabajo, que es súper importante para él conseguir trabajo, yo estaba sentada enfrente, él estaba donde estoy yo ahora. Y empecé a cantar Dada Bhagwana sin cheche cargo. Y apareció Niruma. Ahora le quiero preguntar a Shddha si esto es parte de la mente o apareció. Y estaba feliz. Sí, re loco. Y ahora está hablando de Niruma. ¿Viste? Cuando...
Qué bárbaro. Qué fuerza.
Preguntale eso, Patri. Ahora, cuando empiece.
No.
Yo me tengo que desconectar temprano.
Le pregunto esto
Dale.
que dije recién. Ok.
Sí.
Gracias.
Mm-hmm.
Shddha, I have a question. Today in the morning at 9 o'clock, a friend asked me if he can come here and have a Zoom to find a work that is very important for him because he's not working at this moment. And he was sitting right now where I am now, and meanwhile he was having the Zoom. I was singing in silence the Bhagwana Sin Cheche Cargo. And it happens to appear the presence of Niruma. And I could see that. And I want to know if that is something of the mind or the intellect, or she was present so I can see her.
Isn't that beautiful? That's just amazing. Only this Niruma is widely now accepted that Niruma's role for continuing to share Akram Vignan for everyone in this world is not over, you see. She had such an intense inner fervor, desire, you see, such an intense inner energy that
I will
energy.
translate.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, thank you.
Patri preguntó, por los que no estaban escuchando antes, después volvemos, Patri, pero ahora no vas a poder traducir. Entonces, Patri preguntó que hoy a la mañana tuvo una experiencia mientras ella cantaba para que su amigo le fuese bien en la reunión por Zoom para conseguir trabajo. Estaba cantando Dada Bhagwan así en JJ Cargo y se le apareció la presencia de Niruma. Entonces le está preguntando, muy emocionada, ayuda si es así o si es fruto de su intelecto, de su deseo que ella la vio. Y entonces Shddha comienza diciendo que esto es espectacular y que está globalmente aceptado, que el trabajo de Niruma no está terminado. Era tan fuerte su intención de continuar, su fuerza interna y su energía interna de continuar con el trabajo del Akram Vignan, que eso no está terminado. So
this is she is in the celestial realm. You see, she did so much good work for countless of human beings while she was present in the physical body, that now it continues at a higher level, where she can she continues to give all kinds of subtle messages to Mahatmas all over the world, you see.
Ella sigue apareciendo, sigue estando en el reino celestial, porque fue tanto lo que hizo mientras estaba acá en el cuerpo físico, que ella sigue dando constantemente palabras, fuerzas, signos a los Mahatmas desde este lugar del reino celestial.
And she is essentially conveying to you, Patri, that this, I'm with you. You carry on doing what you're doing, you know. And this is, I'm with you, you see.
Simplemente se te apareció para decirme, estoy con vos. Vos seguí haciendo lo que tenés que hacer, que yo estoy con vos.
She doesn't need to speak to you. She is pretty, you know, pretty content with your whatever you are doing in this magnificent ways, in so many ways in which you are performing this seva, you see, of Dada. You're just an extension. Each one of you who are doing, you know, all this seva, you know, you, Fabi, you know, Cecilia, so many of you, you know, each one of you in this, we are extensions of Dada's energy in so many different directions, you see. Yeah.
Patri, muteate porque te escucho todos tus sonidos guturales de tu emoción.
Perdón.
Linda. Y lo que te dice, lo que nos está diciendo es que no necesita hablarle. Está ahí feliz con todo lo que estamos haciendo. No necesita venir a hablarnos. Está acompañando y está como muy agradecida a todo el seva que todos y cada uno de nosotros estamos haciendo en este camino.
Niruma represents an extension of Dada, and you are all extensions of the same, you see, in so many different ways.
Niruma representa una extensión de Dada, y todos nosotros en alguna u otra forma también somos una extensión de lo mismo.
You see, the love for Dada is so intense that you automatically, your medium, your physical medium, this relative real medium, this is not relative in the 100%, it is relative real, you see.
But the thing that was amazing, that you start talking about Niruma.
Well,
sharing Niruma. After the experience, you began satsang, sharing Niruma.
Yeah, and
Entonces, Patri sigue diciendo que lo más increíble es no solo que se le apareció, sino que cuando empieza el satsang, ¿de qué empieza a hablar Shddha? De Niruma.
Yeah.
Entonces está súper conmovida. Y lo que decía Shddha es que es tal el amor que tenemos por Dada que no somos relativos al 100%. Ese es nuestro relativo real, que somos un medio para, una extensión de.
And you just translated what Patricia said, right?
Yes.
Yeah, and you see, this is the thing. Frankly, when I started, you know Shddha, you know, he whatever comes he says, but I was just going to talk about Dada, and usually I speak about Dada, and then I go into the satsang, but today it happened to be Niruma, and so this is again energizing not only Patri and all of us, but it is also energizing Shddha in some way, because I frankly, sorry, go on. Yeah.
Dice, me pregunta si traduje lo que dijo Patri con esto de que Shddha empezó a hablar de Niruma, y dice, y ustedes ya conocen a Shddha. Shddha habla de lo que se aparece, Shddha habla. Y habitualmente habla de Dada y después sigue con el satsang, pero bueno, se apareció Niruma, entonces habrá que hablar de Niruma, y Niruma, así como está energizando a Patri y a cada uno de nosotros, también lo energiza a él hoy.
All of these years, it's not only you, people from other countries, even the Indians, all these new Indian Mahatmas, they have been telling me for years, you need, please tell us more about Niruma, please tell us more about Niruma. And I kind of avoid speaking about it because you know, I think it has to happen naturally. You can't just, it's so much internal. It is such a wonderful connection, you see, relationship. Niroma, myself, Nima, so such an amazing connection that you cannot speak, you cannot say too much about it because you lose it. It's an
Claro.
internal thing, okay?
Y dice que lo que le pasa más de una vez, nosotros, no solo personas como nosotros de otros países, sino Mahatmas nuevos también de la India, que le piden que hable de Niruma. Y él no siempre lo hace, hasta trata de evitarlo, porque es una relación tan interna entre la querida Niruma y Shddha, que hasta como que se pierde la esencia si se pone a hablar como obligado sobre. Entonces prefiere que suceda así.
Niruma had that way, that connection with Mahatmas who met her, and that they cannot define it. You see, they just, they cannot, when they start talking about it, it remains superficial. You see.
Claro. La relación que generaba Niruma con aquellos Mahatmas que estaban con ella era tan profunda, tan especial, que cuando quieren hablar de eso, como que queda superficial. No se llega a la esencia de esa relación.
Yeah, yes, some of you Mahatmas in Spain have met her. Laura and Yaya have met Niruma, and you see, so these are, in her own ways, she has kind of connected, and she continues to connect with others like you, like she's connecting with Patricia, and so many other Mahatmas in South America,
Sí, Sandra also.
Sandra, yes, yeah.
Sí. Es decir, es tan especial, dice, por ejemplo, Laura, Yai y Akimo tuvieron la bendición de conocerla y tener una relación con Niruma, pero ella se sigue conectando con ellas y también con muchas otras personas, como el caso de Patri hoy. Sandra también tiene una conexión muy especial con Niruma.
Yeah, and this it's like a continuation, and Dada has said this is a continuation of the gathering in different bodies. We all have been together with our Dada before. We have been with him in a different body, and we were all there. We have been with Niruma. If you haven't met Niruma physically, that doesn't mean you haven't been with Niruma,
Que no nos hayamos encontrado físicamente con Niruma no significa que no hayamos estado con Niruma. Todo esto es una continuación. Todos estuvimos con Dada en otro momento, con otro cuerpo. Con lo cual esto es una continuación del estar juntos.
Yeah. You see, it's like this. It's like, you see Gabi sitting with Cecilia, right? Ceci, and they think that they're just meeting in this life. Gabi moved from Chile to Argentina, right? And you think that's just happening for the first time? No, this is the
Dice, es como Gaby y Cecilia, ¿qué se piensan? ¿Que es la primera vez que están juntas? Gaby se muda de Chile para acá, ¿se piensan que es la primera vida que están juntas? No.
Yeah, it is like they were sitting, with Dada and Niruma before, and they really, there is that connection, and so that connection continues. You see, like all our connection, Shuddha's connection with you. You see, this sort of stuff. You see, we, and our role changes. Sometimes we are ahead and sometimes the other one is ahead, and so this is the beauty of it. Now finally getting the Amapura, we are all free.
Entonces, en todos los casos es así, todos ya estuvimos con Dada, todos ya estuvimos entre nosotros, Shddha ya estuvo con nosotros, ya estuvimos con Shddha. Y en cada una de estas partes, algunos vamos cambiando los roles. A veces unos están más adelante, otros están más adelante en otro momento, pero recién ahora, en el que todos estamos en alma pura, ahora estamos todos al mismo nivel, recién ahora. Antes ya estuvimos juntos muchas veces, es una continuación. We can feel it, Shddha. Lo podemos sentir, le digo. Mirar los ojitos de luz.
In our life's journey, in this journey towards liberation, we have met very, very beautiful human beings, amazingly wonderful human beings who have passed away, who have gone, but our connections with them continue in a very subtle way. So you meet them again, you meet them again until the final moksha. You keep on meeting them, and you lift them up, and he lifts you up or she lifts you up, and then you lift him up, and this sort of stuff continues, you see.
Y todo esto continúa y continúa. En este hermoso viaje hacia la liberación nos vamos encontrando con maravillosos seres humanos todo el tiempo, y algunos se mueren y otros nacen y nos volvemos a encontrar, y a veces unos nos levantan y nosotros levantamos a otro y los despegamos. Pero todo esto continúa y continúa hasta el momento de la liberación final.
Yeah, so this is an amazing insight into our own presence, that not only am I free, and absolutely free, but in my journey towards absolute freedom, like more and more freedom, I will continue to be around, these awakened human beings, you see, in different clothes. You look like Luz now, and you look like Patri now, and but different clothes, but it's the same energy, same souls together, they're moving,
Y entonces este es otro asombroso darse cuenta de que en este camino de la liberación, en este viaje, todo el tiempo nos estamos encontrando las mismas bellísimas almas en otras ropas, en otros cuerpos, con otros nombres, pero somos los mismos.
And we're done, we are gone. Is our relationship with this relationships of rag, dvesh, attachment, abhorrence, and all of this that we see all around us in this world. You see, we
Ya
are,
está.
yeah.
Ya está, ya estamos hechos, ya salimos de esta cosa que vemos todo el tiempo de apego y aversión en este mundo.
And
we are done.
we're done, and yet our presence, if it's a sister or a brother or a sister-in-law or a cousin who has not received this magnificent liberation, our presence, as their relative is also makes a difference, so every time they call and say, oh, let's celebrate this birthday and let's do this and let's do that, you go along, and yet your presence is making a difference. You don't have to say anything, you don't have to say anything.
Y aún con todos esos seres que forman nuestra familia como padres o cuñados o hermanos o primos que todavía no recibieron este conocimiento maravilloso, no importa. Vamos, estamos, y ya nuestra presencia va haciendo la diferencia.
Yeah, you are aware that they are imprisoned in their own attachment and aversion, and your presence as the free one is an extremely powerful force, and it will lift him or her up sooner or later, so this is important to keep in awareness.
Sí. Y lo que es importante que mantengamos en conciencia es que aunque ese otro esté atrapado en su juego de apego y aversión. Nuestra presencia libre hace una diferencia. Que no nos... Perdona el perro, sorry. Hace la diferencia nuestra presencia sin estar ni apegados ni con aversión.
Yeah, so you see, you and I, in essence, have become the perfectly silent ones, you see. Our presence is the most magnificent silence, even as we move about. Yes, Tela and Gavi and Shddha will speak, and do all of these things, but our presence makes all the difference. Our presence is the most precious thing in here, our presence.
Nuestra presencia silenciosa es el regalo más preciado en este momento. Aunque Shddha, Tela o Gaby sigan hablando, es nuestra presencia silenciosa el mejor tesoro.
Yeah, this, and this awareness will grow. This awareness will grow because it is associated with the kind of compassion, that is the same as the compassion of Lord Buddha and Lord Mahavir and Lord Jesus. You see, this is the presence.
Y esta conciencia va creciendo y va a ir creciendo y va a ir creciendo en el tipo de compasión que pudimos observar o que podemos observar en Buda o en Lord Mahavir. Simplemente la presencia.
Yeah, this compassion is associated with zero opinions about whether this is right or wrong. You say, this is correct. You say, this is how it is. And so you don't get, even while you're walking in the forest, and deep jungles, you do not get trapped in the jungle. You just move like the light. You move like the light in the jungle,
Y esa compasión es del tipo de cero juicio. Es el tipo de luz con el que podemos caminar en el medio de la selva, de la jungla, y no quedar atrapados.
Yeah, because, even in the thickest forests, like the Amazons and the thick forests of Argentina, if you try to walk through it, you're never going to make it or cross it. But if you connect with the light will let you through. Yes.
Como estar en el medio del Amazonas o cualquier bosque bien cerrado de Argentina. Si pretendemos cruzarlo así nomás, nos vamos a perder, nos vamos a quedar atrapados. Pero si nos conectamos con la luz, eso nos va a ayudar a atravesarlo.
And this world is as dense and as tough as the Amazon. You see, this, interacting with this world is, like that. But, we have this beautiful way of passing through with this light of ours, you see.
Y este mundo es así de denso, así de duro, así de pesado, como cualquiera de esos bosques. Pero nosotros tenemos esta luz del conocimiento que nos ayuda a cruzar, a vivir este mundo así.
We had heard about these beautiful words before, and we would be so impressed by these words, but now this has become part of our experience, our living experience, and that is the beauty of Dada, you see.
Y ya habíamos escuchado estas palabras antes y ya nos habían llamado la atención, pero es ahora que las estamos experimentando, esta belleza de la palabra de Dada que realmente estamos experimentando.
So, my dear, it's a beautiful morning for you. Patricia, Niruma has connected, is with you, and you say, Niruma, whatever your work, that's all, keep coming and giving me the instructions.
Entonces, mis queridos, es una hermosa mañana la de hoy, y para Patri, más que la tuvo Niruma, y lo único que le tiene que decir es, Niruma, seguí dándome instrucciones, quédate conmigo y seguí dándome instrucciones.
Yeah, right. Yes, and not only that. Yes, Niruma. Yes, not only that. Yes, you're not the only one. Even our Gnani he gets the dreams of Niruma. So or feels Niruma around. And
Y no sos la única. Nuestro Nani sigue soñando con Niruma y se le sigue apareciendo.
yeah, and our Gnani is more connected to Niruma than he is with Dada. With Dada, he is at the Gnan level. At the light level. But with Niruma, that's everything. She's everything for him.
Y dice, nuestro Nani está la conexión que tiene con Niruma es muy fuerte, más fuerte que con Dada. Con Dada tiene una conexión a nivel conocimiento, pero con ella es todo, Niruma es todo para él.
Mm-hmm. Yes, so let us know, okay, does anybody else want to say anything before we go into, we have to go into our satsang, so, right, so.
Tenemos que entrar a estudiar, pero si alguien quiere compartir algo más, es el momento.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right, so I'm going to share the screen, and, we're going to complete what we were, complete the part that we heard, because it was a long discussion on this.
Vamos a terminar este Aptasutra que había quedado por la mitad, que se había generado una larga discusión.
Yeah, and it was this Aptasutra of 2699, you see. That,
el 2699.
That Patricia and I had gone into a lot of depth the last time, and we went almost up to the half of it, and we completed up to here, I think, and
Yes.
and then now it comes here. Now Dada comes here. So Dada Dadashri says, our 5 agnas hold true in all 3 spans of time, past, present, and future. However, they have to be understood in relative context. They are to be understood as per each person's capacity. Mm-hmm.
Nuestros 5 agnas son válidos en los 3 espacios de tiempo, pasado, presente y futuro. Sin embargo, deben entenderse en un contexto relativo, deben entenderse según la capacidad de cada persona.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And he says, the questioner says, everything has been predetermined according to Vyavasthit, hasn't it?
El interlocutor dice, todo ha sido predeterminado de acuerdo a Vyavasthit, ¿no es así?
And Dadashri says, when you're hungry, then why don't you say that it is Vyavasthit? When you are on the edge of a well, then why do you become so careful and walk around the edge of the well? Therefore, Vyavasthit cannot be said beforehand. After falling into the well, you may then say that it is Vyavasthit.
Entonces Dadashri le contesta, cuando tienes hambre, entonces, ¿por qué no dices que es Vyavasthit? Cuando estás al borde de un pozo, entonces, ¿por qué te vuelves tan cuidadoso y caminas alrededor? Por lo tanto, no se puede decir Vyavasthit de antemano. Después de caer en el pozo, ahí puedes decir que es Vyavasthit.
For example, in this morning satsang, like for instance, what Patricia shared and Shddha shared, we cannot say it was Vyavasthit, it is Vyavasthit that, this, after it has happened, now we become aware that these were the evidences of this satsang, you see. Mm-hmm.
Tomando el ejemplo de esta mañana, antes de que Patri y Shddha compartiesen, no lo podíamos decir, pero ahora que ya sucedió y que ya se compartió, ahora que ya sabemos lo que pasó, ahora podemos decir que todo eso fue Vyavasthit.
So then the questioner is saying, so does that mean that one should indeed make an effort? You see, and this effort here, Dadashri is actually meaning he uses the word Purusharth, you see, he uses the word Purusharth. And so that's Purusharth really, and Dada interprets Purusharth with a Mahatma only as whatever you do as the Amapura, with the vision of Amapura, whatever progress is made is called Purusharth. you see.
Okay.
P capital
Entonces
Purusharth.
el interlocutor dice, sí, entonces eso significa que uno debe efectivamente hacer un esfuerzo, Purusharth. Y acá es donde explica que dada para los Mahatmas, Purusharth significa que cualquier cosa que haya sido hecha desde la visión de alma pura es Purusharth.
You know, like so Dadashri says, no, not Purusharth. That is called Prayatna. Prayatna, that is the effort, you see. Prayatna is in the relative, by the way, and Purusharth is in the real, you see, P capital Purusharth, you see.
Yeah.
Because after Gnanvidhi, the small p Purusharth is gone, you see. I'm doing is called Purusharth.
Entonces, Purusharth habitualmente debemos ponerlo con la P mayúscula porque se trata de lo real. Después del Gnanvidhi no hay Purusharth con minúscula. Eso es Prayatna.
Yeah, after the Gnanvidhi, the only thing that is left for you and I is 5 agnas, you see, and that is the Purusharth. It is the P capital Purusharth, to see the self in others, to absolutely accept Vyavasthit, scientific circumstantial evidences, and only pay attention when the file arises in front of you. Otherwise, your work is done, you see.
Entonces, después del Gnanvidhi, lo único que nos queda para nosotros los Mahatmas son los 5 agnas. Eso es Purusharth con mayúscula, con la P mayúscula. Los 5 agnas, estar conscientes de la separación, de que somos alma pura y aceptar por completo Vyavasthit y solo ocuparnos cuando un file aparece de resolverlo. Si no, todo el resto del trabajo ya está hecho.
So, Dadashri doesn't call it Purusharth. You see, to make an effort is not Purusharth. You see, Dadashri now splits our Purusharth as the Amapuras from the efforts that, you know, Damian or Tela might make, you see. That is the effort. Effort in worldly interactions. Do your best, and then if you slip, then that is Vyavasthit, you see.
Entonces lo que hace es separar para nosotros Purusharth con P mayúscula de lo que hacemos en el mundo relativo Prayatna. Eso es el esfuerzo que por ejemplo pueden hacer Damián o cualquiera de los otros nombres. Si nos resbalamos, ok, entonces es Vyavasthit, pero en el mientras tanto hay que hacer Prayatna.
Prayatna. You see, so this is the most important sentence. So awareness should be maintained. Nothing else. Only maintained awareness. After a mistake is made, it is Vyavasthit. After a mistake is made by Tela or by Patricia or Shddha, then it is Vyavasthit, you see. It was indeed Vyavasthit. Now Dada says, yes, it was Vyavasthit. Yes, it was Vyavasthit. Yes, Shddha and Patri talking about Niruma was Vyavasthit. Whatever there was, that is indeed what unfolded. This is what opened up this morning, you see.
Entonces, leyendo completo, Dadashri dice, no Purusharth, eso se llama Prayatna, es el esfuerzo en la interacción mundana. Así que la conciencia debe ser mantenida, nada más. Después de que se comete un error, es Vyavasthit. Y en efecto fue Vyavasthit lo que hubo. Eso es en efecto lo que se desarrolló, como por ejemplo la conversación de hoy con Shddha y Patri. Eso es Vyavasthit.
It is such that one, the O capital, that is the Amapura, the one who is awakened, the one who is aware, Jagrut. You see, he is aware. He is not bound or required to do anything, you see. It is in fact for the ones who are lacking this awareness, you see, who is a Jagrut, that I have said, make an effort, make an effort. Otherwise, he will do the wrong thing. He will misuse Vyavasthit. you see.
Es tal que el que es consciente, con mayúscula debería estar, Jagrut, no está obligado, no es requerido hacer nada. De hecho, es para los que carecen de conciencia, Jagrut, que yo he dicho, haz un esfuerzo, Prayatna. De lo contrario, hará lo incorrecto, hará un mal uso de Vyavasthit.
So what it follows is that, because we have received this Gnan, we're still not completely continuously aware, you see, of Evaswamapura. The old habits makes us behave as Stella and Shddha and Fabi, you see. And so for at that level, Dada says, you have to do your best, do your best. Don't fall down, don't slip in bad places, you see. Do your best.
Como no estamos totalmente completos aún y nos falta, y son los viejos hábitos los que nos hacen seguir actuando como actuamos, como Tela, como Fabi, como Shddha, como Patri, es que nos dice esto, es decir, vayan con cuidado, no se resbalen en los malos lugares, porque no estamos todavía completamente despiertos.
Yeah, if we are, and after years and years of satsang, like we are all in, after continuously reading the same things over and over again, we say same, it's not the same, after being with Dada, you see, as we become more aware in who am I and the total, as we become more aware of scientific circumstantial evidence as the doer, nobody else is the doer, scientific circumstantial evidence is the doer, then it is a totally different thing. So then you don't have to say it is Vyavasthit. It automatically remains for you that it is Vyavasthit, you see.
Entonces, con años y años y años de estar en satsang, de estar con la palabra de Dada, de leer las mismas cosas, que entre paréntesis dice, no es leer las mismas cosas, es leer lo mismo, pero no es lo mismo, porque vamos viendo capas y capas y capas de conocimiento. Entonces, a medida que eso pasa y pasa y pasa y la conciencia crece, es que ya no decimos Vyavasthit, ya comprendemos, ya sucede, lo sabemos, no lo tenemos que decir, pero es con años y años de ir abriendo conciencia.
I'll give you another very amazing, interesting example. Last Saturday, Shddha woke up very early, like around 4:30 or 5 o'clock, because he had to finish this new Dadavani for April, you see, which is, he had to finish. So he started doing it, and he was in the last pages of it, translating it from, not translating, but actually reviewing the translation, and to make sure it's the way it's supposed to be with Dada's words, you see. And
nos va a dar otro ejemplo clarísimo de esto. Y por ejemplo, este sábado Shddha se despertó a las 4:30 de la mañana porque tenía que terminar el Dadavani de abril. Estaba trabajando en corrección de la traducción para asegurarse de que cada palabra sea según las palabras de Dada, y entonces se levantó muy temprano para hacer esto.
So the whole morning, last Saturday, I was in the process of finishing this Dadavani, and then after that, I took a little walk, and then I came back, and then I see the message from Patricia. And he says, "Oh, Shddha, are you coming? Are you going to come to satsang? All right, And so I said, "Oh, Dada, so this is Dada. This is scientific circumstantial evidence. Now, I have to, but at the relative level, I have to apologize because all of you were waiting. You see,
Y entonces este es un ejemplo magnífico. Él se levantó 4:30, trabajó toda la mañana en el Dadavani, se fue a caminar un rato para despejarse y cuando vuelve ve el mensaje de Patricia diciendo, Shddha, ¿vas a venir al satsang con nosotros? Y entonces dice, eso es evidencia científico-circunstancial y total y completa, pero igual Shddha tuvo que disculparse con todos nosotros que estábamos esperándolo para tener el satsang con él.
Yeah, because ever since I met Niruma, my most important priority is satsang. I forget everything else. I'd leave aside everything else. Satsang is the most important thing, and yet,
Y dice, claro, que desde que conoció a Niruma no hay nada más importante para él que el satsang. Y sin embargo, este sábado.
Yeah, but looks like scientific circumstantial evidences wanted me to finish this Dadavani so that we can give it to the world, and it's a beautiful.
Pero bueno, este sábado, claro, la evidencia científica circunstancial quiso que Shddha termine ese Dadavani para que estuviera listo para darlo al mundo. Sí, Patri.
Yeah, Patri. Mm-hmm.
The most amazing thing was there was not satsang with you, but Yaya shared a video of Niruma. So this started last week.
so
your evidence.
Yeah, so Niruma is operating at very subtle levels, makes me totally pay attention to what is needed right now, and then you can go do satsang, you see.
Entonces Patri comparte que lo más increíble de todo esto es que todo empezó el sábado, porque la evidencia le hizo ayuda a estar en otra cosa, y que hizo Yaya compartió con todos nosotros un video de Niruma. Entonces dice, a un nivel muy sutil está operando y lo mandó a Shddha a hacer lo que tenía que hacer, y a nosotros nos tuvo en satsang de otra forma.
Yeah, it's so we make this error of believing, I think I understand what's going on, but Vyavasthit scientific circumstantial evidence is beyond our capacity to understand what is going on.
Y cometemos el error de creer que estamos entendiendo lo que está pasando. Pero no, la evidencia científico-circunstancial está mucho más allá de lo que creemos entender que está pasando como evidencia.
Yeah, Dadashri has said, and we have read before, Dadashri has said that the man who is so exact and, keeps all the, he gets up in time and does everything, he misses the flight, and his airline seat is given to some other person, and this man misses the flight, you see. And this is how it is meant to be. The man who entered the flight is the one who was supposed to die in that crash. You see.
Y Dada ya nos lo dijo, ya lo leímos. Ese hombre que conocimos tan prolijo, tan ordenado, que todo lo agendaba. Sin embargo, un día pierde el vuelo y ese asiento se lo dan a otro ser humano. ¿Y qué sucedió? El avión se estrelló y era otro el ser humano que tenía que morir estrellado en ese avión, y no él, que tan prolijo y tan organizado siempre, por algún motivo, perdió ese vuelo.
So, day by day we're getting this appreciation of this Vyavasthit of Dada is amazingly liberating and is amazingly enlightening. Two things, liberating as well as enlightening. Enlightening means it gives more light, and liberating means it just lifts us up above. Mm-hmm.
Ir descubriendo y entendiendo cada vez más esta ciencia de Vyavasthit, la evidencia científico-circunstancial, es a la vez liberadora e iluminadora. Iluminadora porque nos va dando cada vez más luz, y liberadora porque nos va elevando cada vez más.
Only a Gnani Purush can yield to Vyavasthit in every way. As long as you, Mahatma, have not attained Gnan completely, you have to in fact keep making an effort, prayatna. However, it is Vyavasthit that is doing everything. The Gnani actually yields to Vyavasthit in every way. A Gnani sees all this in his Gnan, how it is running. This is very beautiful. Go on, read that, please.
Esto es muy bello, dice. Solo un Gnani Purush puede ceder a Vyavasthit en todos los sentidos. Mientras no hayas alcanzado el Gnan completamente, tú, Mahatma, tienes que seguir haciendo un esfuerzo, prayatna. Sin embargo, es el Vyavasthit el que lo hace todo. El Gnani realmente cede a Vyavasthit en todos los sentidos. Un Gnani ve todo en su Gnan. Cómo está todo siempre funcionando, sucediendo.
You know, in terms of what has been shared about Niruma this morning, you see, you have, you know, this, what Patri dear shared, and, you know, what we all discussed today about Niruma, and listened, you know, her work. There, you know, it gives us glimpses into seeing all of this in our Gnan. You know, we are able to see a little bit more than what meets our eyes and our senses, you see. Yes, you know, we're seeing some subtle stuff, subtle things, you see. It's seeing means we are seeing inside subtle things, you see. We are becoming aware of these subtle things, you see.
Y todo lo que esta mañana sucedió, todo lo que compartimos con Patri, son todos como destellos, como momentos de elevación que vamos viendo más y más allá de lo que ven nuestros ojos. Realmente vamos viendo a un nivel más sutil.
How it is running, and we are only seeing maybe just glimpses of it, whereas our Gnani Dadashri sees it all, you know, he sees it all, you know. And I tell you something very interesting, which I read yesterday, you know, and it's just one sentence. When Dadashri says, Lord Mahavir, the last fully enlightened one on our earth, you see, he had this knowledge, he had this Gnan, you see, but he could not share it with the world, you know, he could not share it with the world, and I am now sharing it with you. This which Gnan,
nos está compartiendo Shddha algo maravilloso, porque antes de que dejara de compartir la página volvió a repetir que lo que el Gnani ve, nuestro Dada ve por completo, nosotros vamos teniendo destellos, pedacitos, y ahí se le vino un recuerdo de algo que leyó ayer, que volvió a decir que nuestro Dada dijo: Lord Mahavir, el último gran iluminado sobre esta tierra, tuvo este conocimiento completo, todo, pero no lo pudo compartir. Y soy yo el que está compartiendo este conocimiento ahora con ustedes.
He's not talking about the Gnan. He's not talking about the Gnan of the self, you see, that completely manifest, you know, was experienced and by Lord Mahavir, but he's talking about the Gnan of scientific circumstantial evidences, you see. This Gnan Lord Mahavir did not give to the world, and Dada is giving to the world, you see. This is the beauty of it, you see.
Está hablando del conocimiento completo de la evidencia científico-circunstancial que Lord Mahavir no pudo darle al mundo. Lo tenía, pero no pudo compartirlo. Y fue Dada que lo pudo compartir con nosotros.
These are actual words of Dada that I just shared. You see,
Estas son palabras de Dada.
Some people in India would take issue with it and will challenge that, but it's not for us to challenge anyone. This is, we know, this is how it is, okay?
Y dice, más de una persona en India podrán discutir eso o desafiar esas palabras, pero no es nuestro trabajo desafiar nada. Sabemos que es así y las aceptamos.
Yes, so anyway, so in continuing further, let me see, I make sure that, all right, whoops.
Yeah, we are running out.
We're running out. Okay, all right, we will continue. There is no rush. Just because there's a heading doesn't mean we need to jump to the next. We will come to this next time, all right?
Okay.
Vishuddhatma Bhagavan, yes.
Vamos a volver a este, no lo podemos terminar por una cuestión de tiempo, pero nada nos apura.
Yes.
Lo vamos a terminar la próxima vez.
Yeah, right. Our time is up, but we are deeply grateful for this evidences and this vision that allows us to see it as it is. To see it as it is. Yes. Yes.
Estamos muy agradecidos por este conocimiento y por esta visión que nos permite ver lo que es como es.
Yeah, thank you so much, my dear Fabi and Patri and everyone. Yes, Jai Sachidanand.
Gracias, Patri.
Thank you, Jai Sachidanand.
Jai Sachidanand.
Muchas gracias.
Jai Sachidanand.
Muchas gracias.
Gonzalo, Mónica, Laura, Carlos, Jai Sachidanand. Jai Sachidanand.
Excelso este satsang.
Jai Sachidanand. Jai Sachidanand.